If you listen to 757 at 6 weeknights during the summer here on ESPN Radio 94.1 is one of our more popular segments. We had the Legends of Sports brought to us by the Norview living legend himself, Coach Charles Hatcher of Sports Inside and Out. Go check out the website, sportsinsideandout.com, the podcast, all the great things he's doing with the guy who's part of the Miami chapter of retired NBA players, the executive director for filming and documentaries with Sports Inside and Out. He was the Philadelphia's Big Five Player of the Year back in 1963, 1964, back-to-back all-rookie team with the Baltimore Bullets in 1965. And yeah, he won an NBA championship alongside Wilt Chamberlain and that great Philadelphia 76ers team in 1967. We say hello to Coach Hatcher along with Wali Jones here on ESPN Radio 94.1. Good morning, gentlemen. How's life in the bubble?
Listen,
Good morning.
Hey, Wally, listeners, I got to tell you, Matt's our favorite white boy down in Hatfield. I mean, he's the guy that we're very proud of, Wally, of bringing our format of the great legends of sports and all the great guys that we bring in, because we bring in those that help make the game, both in NBA, basketball, whatever the sport, but particularly with what we got. And Matt, we got something great for you here, because as Wally, his update is right there smack dab in the middle of the bubble. And we're going to continue, our listeners here in the Hampton Roads area with 757 Matt Hatfield and ESPN 94.1. Stay tuned, because he's going to have the news that you can use when it comes to live from the bubble and the wubble, because we're going to give you both, the WNBA as well as the NBA. But let's get it started right now for Matt. Hey, Matt, we're so happy to join your team with you, and thank you so much, because you're helping us voice the great legends of sports around the country.
Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate it, Coach Hatcher. And you and Wally do a great job with the Legends of Sports. They can listen to the Wally Wonder Update on sportsinsideandout.com and so much more. And you mentioned the greats down there in the bubble. Elizabeth Williams right here from the 757 with the WNBA's Atlanta Dream, played at Princess Anne High School and Virginia Beach. And I got so much to get to you, both of you guys, with here. And Wally, of course, you played with the Sixers and the guy known as the Big Dipper, Wilt Chamberlain, Mighty Special. I just want to get right to it right here. I mean, so much is being talked about the best block conversation, that incredible rejection by Bam Adebayo for the Miami Heat at the end of Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics. And guess what, folks? The Heat are no longer a secret anymore. But you also went up against Bill Russell. I mean, people saying, well, it was the best block of all time when LeBron James did it against Andre Iguodala in the finals. And I'm sure for both you and Coach Hatcher, it's got to make both of you chuckle to hear some of these commentators on TV debate rejections that have only happened in the past 10, 15 years here in this age of social media.
Well, Matt, I have to give you a viewpoint as speaking of experience and everything. It's really interesting because they don't really know about a lot of basketball players before Magic and Bird. And when you talk about, I played with Wilt, Walt Bellamy, Kareem, Darryl Dawkins, Bob Lanier, some of the greatest basketball centers. But when you talk about blocks, they didn't keep blocks then. And Bill Russell was an outstanding defensive player and winningest basketball player in the history of sports. You say 11 championships, but great blocks. I've seen Wilt block shots where guys' shoulders were taken out of place because of trying to dunk on Wilt Chamberlain. But I can attest that Bam's block was one of the fantastic blocks in the playoffs. And being affiliated with the Miami Heat for over 15 years as a scout and community relations director, I realized that culture is defense. And when they rotate and play together, that's one of the most exciting plays when you see a good defensive play, because that's how you win championships, man. It's defensive play. So that was one of the exciting, but you talk about before Magic and Bird, Wilt Chamberlain. I don't want to talk too much because all you got to do is look at the records. 50 points a game, averaging 25 rebounds. He actually led in assists that year, Matt, when we won the World Championship. We were named the NBA's greatest team for the first 35 years, but he was a basketball player. When you talk about Michael, LeBron, and great players, I played with Kareem and players that are great centers, but individually, Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest individual basketball player that ever put on sneaks. And
Never played a game.
Well, and it's funny. Yeah, that team you were on there dethroned the 8-time defending NBA champion Boston Celtics there in '67. And you know what? Look, I tweeted this earlier this week, guys, and I'm sure Coach Hatcher, you can chime in on this with Wally as well. That look, maybe Bam's block was the best ever. Maybe LeBron's was the best ever. Maybe it was someone else before both of those guys. But I'm so tired of seeing on TV the minute Bam, who's a great young man who's doing terrific for the Heat, has his moment. We got to take this moment away from the poor kid and say, whoa. Everything gets compared today now to LeBron and Michael. And it's more than just LeBron and Michael. LeBron's been compared to Michael. There's other people besides just those two guys.
Well, it's interesting that they're comparisons, and they're two different type ball players. And it's interesting how those comparisons, again, because I won't take this away from Bam. To me, he was the most improved basketball player this year, making the All-Star team instead of Brandon Ingram from the New Orleans Pelicans. But Bam can handle, play defense, mid-range jumper, and also attack the basket. So I'm not going to take a thing away from him because those 20 years working for the Miami Heat, I understand that culture. And what they've done to the Boston Celtics is stifled them at the end with one of the most exciting basketball players that I see playing now, Jimmy Butler. He left my 76ers to go to the Heat, and he's brought a new culture there. And these young players that are playing with him are very young, but he's made them understand the importance of team play, which I commend Spoelstra anyway. He's one of the great coaches out there, and the Pat Riley system, because under him, as a scout, I realize what he looks for. Guys that play the game, play hard, and they play together. So it's something that I'm very proud of the Miami Heat.
Yeah, I'm sure the Sixers would like to have go ahead, Coach Hatcher. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to look at it through of course, not the player thing. Most of my experience was yours, but I look at the coaching end, and it is a tremendous situation as we do the teaming concept for William. I look at on the coaching end of things, while it gives the dilution and intelligence and the IQ of playing on and off, but it's so much to do with coaching. You're only going to have these guys do what their job descriptions are designed to do with the management, which is all Coach Gears and William Wali have seen it so much in coaching professional basketball, even when I was coaching overseas. It's not coaching these guys. You know that, Matt. You cannot coach a guy that's making this kind of money that is way better than any average person in skill level of athlete in the world. What you do is manage. Putting the right combinations on the court to get the desired effect. And also making it a situation of psychology, as me and Wally always talk about, because you got guys with tremendous egos, and to be able to coincide and negotiate and do what you call clinician activities, such as a clinician social worker you might want to be. It takes that to be able to coach and be successful, not just in the NBA, which is the apex of it, or the zenith of basketball, but in any coaching at all, which goes right down if you learn enough. As you well know, with your another coach, a stream down there, you got prep down there in Hampton Roads, Virginia. That's very, very impactful on your stream, Matt. This goes right on down so the high school guys can learn, or high school coaches, not guys themselves, to learn as well. But it's got a lot to do with the philosophy and scheme and game planning and intelligence or psychology that you bring to the court, Max. So that is something that we definitely want the coaches are a part of it as well.
Sure. A couple more minutes here with Wali Jones, the former NBA champion with the Philadelphia 76ers, all-rookie team with the Baltimore Bullets, Philadelphia's Big Five Player of the Year back-to-back, part of the Legends of Sports, sportsinsideandout.com. Go check it out with Wali and our good friend, Coach Charles Hatcher, the Norview High living legend here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on ESPN Radio 94.1. Just a couple more minutes with them before the top of the hour, and we'll get these guys back on for sure. We'll get more Coach Hatcher and Coach Wali Jones in the coming Saturdays here on ESPN Radio 94.1. And you bring up a good point, Wally, and Coach Hatcher there with Jimmy Butler. Boy, at Philadelphia, would like to have him back. And the coaching jobs of Michael Malone there in Denver, as well as Eric Spoelstra in Miami, have been tremendous. And the MVP talk, Giannis gets it over LeBron. LeBron outraged about his 16 votes, and understandably so. But I want to get your quick take, both of you guys, on maybe someone should be a little more upset. An area, a single soul gave Anthony Davis a vote. I'm not going to put him in that Wilt Russell conversation just yet. I'm not that crazy. However, am I crazy to think that Anthony Davis is the game changer now in the NBA and the rare, dominant, inside-outside big? And when he's healthy, can't stop that guy.
Well, I do believe he should have been considered for also the Defensive Player of the Year for what he adds to the Lakers. But a combination of LeBron James and him, it shows that LeBron doesn't have to take that toll of always scoring. He's the assist guy. And I think Anthony Davis should be compared to one of the top forwards in the game, and that's Tim Duncan, because he was able to not only help his team offensively, but defensively. So that's a big part of what the Lakers bring to it. Again, in that voting, Giannis, he played his game. He played both ends, and they had the best record. But when you talk about the voting, I know LeBron, he made a comment. He was pissed off about the votes. Well, that's the way the game is. A short season, and Giannis's team was the number one team in winning his team. So I commend him for his MVP, and that's 2 years in a row. And that's not done for MVP of the league and MVP defensively, done by only Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon, and David Robinson. So it's quite a feat that Giannis has done. Great feat.
Well, one thing too, Wally and Matt, is that a lot of the voting now, the people don't realize the old voting was done by your peers and the coaches. That's when it was really appreciated.
Yes.
Wally talked about a lot of that. With this fan situation, man, the fan does put a good player who may be deserving of a little bit of odds, because you can jam ballots and double bubble and all this kind of stuff, man. But when you're voted by your peers and your coaches, now that's when you've arrived. So let's not get it twisted. There is a fan-based entertainment business of the NBA now, and fans have more impact because they can get an entire city block to put some votes in. So you got to be able to understand the difference between some of these things that's going on. Fan participatory, but like Wally said, when you voted by your guys that you've been on the court with, and it's something to behold. That's when you really think you deservingly and should be proud of your work.
Well, that's done with the All-Star game too.
Yeah,
it's part fan-based voting. It's all entertainment, Matt. But it's pretty interesting when you look at what's happening in the voting of the most improved, the rookies of the year, the All-Star team, because I think it was quite interesting that they had Anthony Davis, LeBron, Giannis, and James on the first team. But a surprise with me, it's not a surprise, but Doncic also made. I know James Harden was the one, but Doncic was a young man that I think is an upcoming star from the Mavericks. So that voting, again, was by the journalists, and we got to realize that's not by the coaches and your peers, by the journalists.
Right.
Great point. Well, if you want some more great, sharp basketball conversation, sportsinsideandout.com is the place with the one and only Wali Jones, NBA champion, Philadelphia 76ers, 1967, and the architect there, Coach Charles Hatcher, Norview High, great. Sports Inside and Out, the legends of sports, bringing it to us all the time here on ESPN Radio 94.1. Gentlemen, I look forward to more conversations in depth about sports and basketball, and enjoy your weekend and enjoy the bubble, Wally, all right?
Hey, no question. Hey, Matt, I want to give a great shout-out to a great fan and supporter of not just your show but ours, Dr. Stephen Cummings of PTMG, a surgeon over there. Got to really help me get through my situation with an accident down there. He's a great sports fan and a great person to really adhere to. And he's a great supporter of your show down there. Dr. Stephen Cummings, a great cat at PTMG down there, man. So, can't think of it. We got some great things coming to you, Matt. And if y'all listen, you got a great ESPN-based something to be treasured there in the Hampton Roads area, and we're going to help him. That's why I would say teamwork makes the dream work, and we're going to make sure that he gets all the sports legend news that he can use there for you guys. And Matt, God bless you, and tell the coach down there that we say hello to there at is it Coach Young up there?
Yes, sir. We will. We will do that. Thank you, fellas. You be well.
Well, thanks, Matt, for having us on, and catch you on the rebound.
There you go. Wali Jones and Coach Charles Hatcher with us from Sports Inside and Out here, the Legends of Sports on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. We'll take a timeout. Hour 2's coming your way right here on ESPN Radio 94.1.